başlatabilir miyiz? We have come to rely on our daily coffee, but do we really know coffee's history and its traditions? Turkish coffee is the world's first coffee brewing technique, invented by Turks in the 16th century. It is a 500. Evet, hepimiz Türk kahvesi içiyoruz ama acaba kahvenin tarihini biliyor muyuz? 16. yüzyılda Türkler tarafından icat edilmiş 500 yıllık bir ritüeldir Türk kahvesi. Keyifle içilir, bazen fal bakımıyla da taçlandırılır. Türk kahvesi kültürü aslında kadim bir sanat olarak düşündüğümüz bir şey. UNESCO'nun gayrimaddi kültür mirası riskine de girdi ve bu yüzden her sene 5 Aralık tarihinde Türk Kahvesi Günü'nü kutluyoruz. Evet, ben bir kültür diplomasisi girişimi olarak tüm dünyayı ziyaret ediyorum. Türk kahvesini, Türk kültürünü her yerde tanıtmaya çalışıyorum. Gönüllü bir girişimciyim. Turkish Coffee Truck isimli Türk kahvesi tırımızla her yere gidiyoruz ve Türk kahvesine olan sevgiyi yaymaya çalışıyoruz ve Türk kahvesi tabii ki misafirperverlik, dostluk, barışı temsil ediyor yüzyıllardır. Değerli misafirler, öncelikle hoş geldiniz. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, welcome. My name is Gizem White, and I'm also called the Turkish Coffee Lady. If you ask me how I got this nickname, I can tell you that for the last 10 years, I've been promoting Turkish coffee on a voluntary basis abroad. So the lovers of Turkish coffee have given me this nickname, and this Turkish Coffee Lady is a voluntary cultural ambassador and an expert of country branding. What do we mean by country branding? First of all, we need to create an economic value at the international platform to be able to draw investments from abroad, to be able to host qualified tourists in our country, and we also aim at inviting academics and students to our country, and we also want to create a cultural value. Looking at this map, you can see many different country brands and also the main companies contributing to these brands like Google, IKEA, Samsung, all these brands and companies that create value. Can you see Turkey on this map? No, but just to give you a tip, we have this cultural asset that is even more valuable than many brands. It's a 500-year-old product, and that is the Turkish coffee, which is a taste of friendship for the last 500 years. So the road that goes to the hearts of the people around the world passes from Turkish coffee. In our cultural leaflets, we always read that Turkish people introduced coffee to the Europeans, but we never tell the rest of the story. So today we will continue to talk about the rest of the story, and we will talk about how the Turkish coffee played a role for spreading coffee all around the world. I'll tell you how important Turkish coffee was, and I'll talk about how the coffee beans were first discovered in Ethiopia, how it was further brought to Yemen, and how the governor of Yemen in the 16th century brought the coffee beans to the Ottoman palace, and how Süleyman the Magnificent loved Turkish coffee and started this billion-dollar industry today. So coffee was further brought to Europe through travelers, ambassadors, merchants, and they helped coffee be effective in the socio-economic and cultural relations of many different societies. And then coffee was brought to the US in the 19th century. I live in DC, and in US we have 400 million cups of coffee consumed every day, and unfortunately in big coffee chains they don't serve Turkish coffee in the US. So I was just wondering why this is the case. I was making research about it, and according to my research, these are the top states that consume coffee. I was living in DC So I started to put into life this coffee project in that state first with a team of volunteers. Our mission was to make sure that we strengthen the Turkish coffee brand. First, when you say coffee, we need to make sure that Turkey comes to mind. Second thing is that this culture of coffee and coffee houses was spread to the world from our country. So we need to tell people about this, and we need to further strengthen friendship ties thanks to conversations over a cup of coffee and to be engaged in a cultural exchange relationship through this. So as this was a voluntary effort, we had a limited budget, so we started to develop this online platform. This was the first digital coffee house of Turkey, whereby we talked about Turkey, posted pictures of Turkey. And this was the time when Facebook was becoming popular, and we had very good feedback. About 1,000 new members joined and talked about Turkey. And our motto was that it's your time to talk about Turkey. Share your Turkish experience, we said, and we wanted to make sure that all international guests coming to Turkey would become ambassadors of Turkey later on, because that's what they do anyway. So we wanted people to share their posts through this website. For about 2 years, the project went very well, and we observed the following. Apart from online platforms, people actually do want to get together on a physical platform. They want to taste the coffee. So in 2011, at the residence of the embassy in DC, we had this Turkish coffee seminar from 16th century to 21st century and beyond was the name of the event, and it was highly appreciated. So we carried out the same seminar in New York in the UN building. So the Turkish community supported this, and the local NGOs and the international community showed great interest. And I've understood that we had to organize something with a bigger impact. And at that time, we had this trend in New York, the food trucks, as we call them. The Americans, when they want to have lunch or dinner, would use these trucks, food trucks. So you could find all world cuisines in these trucks, but unfortunately we didn't have a Turkish cuisine truck. So I identified this need, and we developed a project. We called it the Turkish coffee truck. So Kuru Kahveci Mehmet Efendi, the company, supported this, and we also got the support of the Ministry of Culture. And we organized the first Turkish coffee tour of the world back in 2012. This truck came from New Jersey, was dressed by the volunteers, by us. We actually identified a road for us, starting from DC all the way up to Baltimore, New Haven, Boston. In big cities, we set forth on this journey to distribute thousands and thousands of cups of Turkish coffee. We went to central places, universities. We've seen huge interest in this initiative. And it wasn't only about going around with this coffee truck, but Harvard University, Yale University, these universities that will actually train the future leaders were explained about this Turkish coffee journey. So we started this journey at the embassy, residence of the embassy in DC, but we continued this in many places like DuPont Circle and other places as well. And this was a non-profit initiative. This was an NGO initiative. So the American press also covered this quite intensively. Washington Post, BBC, these are important media outlets in the States, so they showed great interest in this. So the theme was called The Taste of Friendship for 500 Years, and we started this project, and we also received a document of honorary document by the Congress, because this project was bringing together societies through coffee. So it was also officially recognized. At that time, I was working at the PR department of Turkish Airlines, and a similar initiative was carried out within the Turkish Airlines. As you know, Turkish Airlines is an important global brand of Turkey. So on the streets of DC in September 2013, everybody was drinking Turkish coffee. We had these two coffee trucks going around the streets promoting Turkey and offering people Turkish coffee and making friendships even stronger. So of course this truck, the Turkish coffee truck, became so popular that we started to get invitations from different places in the world, from Europe, from Canada, from Middle East, and then we came to Turkey, to Istanbul, which is the place that coffee was distributed to the world. We had this launching event and we identified the points to travel to Europe, and as we were about to start our journey in Europe, something sad happened. Our beloved Dr. Oz is a person who has 4 million viewers. He introduced the Turkish coffee on his own TV show as the Greek coffee. So we were extremely sad about this. We appreciate him. We like him. That's why we made a call to him. We started the signature campaign and we said, Dr. Oz, please, let's celebrate not only one coffee culture, but all coffee cultures, and let's hear from you the importance of the Turkish coffee. So this turned into a huge signature campaign. About 500,000 people supported this. It was on the headlines of all news. And finally, Dr. Oz made an announcement focusing and emphasizing the cultural importance of Turkish coffee. Right after that, we started our European tour. As you see, this was our smaller truck, because we had to rent this smaller truck that would easily navigate around the streets. We started this journey in Amsterdam. We attended music festivals. We went to the European Parliament, Erasmus University, Leiden University, University of Ghent, and in many different cities. We promoted the Turkish coffee with different societies, with different ethnic groups. It was highly appreciated. People showed great interest in this. I thought Europe would be different after the States, but I was wrong. They really know the Turkish coffee very well, but they never had the chance to taste it. So we gave them this chance, and we concluded our tour in Paris. In 2016, we carried forward the same tour to Canada, to Toronto, with the support of our Ministry of Culture. Then this time we had a tour of 1 week, and again there was huge interest. People came from their offices, they informed their friends about this, they were lining up in front of the truck. So in terms of seeing the potential of the Turkish coffee, this was a very important development. And we went around the streets of Toronto, so this was also covered in the media, international media as well as in local media, and we were able to promote Turkey at an extensive pace. So during these tours, we didn't offer people coffee in the streets only, but in important places as well. We went to the NATO headquarters in Brussels, so high-ranking generals, they found me offering them Turkish coffee once they left their meetings. So again, the World Bank office, which hosts very important high-level people in the world. We had many activities in the World Bank headquarters. Then at Harvard University, we had an event, and we distributed Turkish coffee to the staff at the European Parliament. So we're talking about this Turkish brand that is 500 years old, and we want to tell the story in a more effective way. So Home of Turkish Coffee is an initiative of the Ministry of Culture. Of course, promotion is very important, but now there is such a fierce competition in the world, both in the coffee sector and in branding, country branding sector. We need to work harder and raise the bar. We need to create more value to the Turkish coffee. So we shouldn't suffice with this Home of Turkish Coffee, but we want to emphasize the fact that it's the world's first coffee brewing method. This is very important. Many people have this cezve, this small coffee pot, and we need to emphasize the importance of this Turkish coffee pot. This is a great invention. This was actually invented by the Turkish people in the 16th century, and then it was spread all around the world. This is very important. And then the Turkish coffee is the first original gourmet coffee, so its position is much different, and of course it's a 500-year-old cultural heritage. So we said in the beginning that Turkish coffee wasn't in the American market, and we were searching the reasons for this. The first coffee shop was opened in Istanbul in the 16th century. In Vienna, it was the 17th century. For instance, Paris had its first coffee in 1679, and then the coffee was introduced to U.S. in the 18th century. So this is such a part of our culture, but we never promoted this all around the world. We didn't make Turkish coffee a part of people's lives for so long time. So I took a decision, and I said that this is my passion for the last 8 years. This project that I've been involved in for the last 8 years needs to be converted into a long-term project. And with the support of my family and my partners, I had the first original authentic Turkish coffee chain. So in DC, in this very prestigious mall, we supported women entrepreneurs, and for the last 1 year, we have received so much interest. I can't even describe it with words. We are hosting about 20 different ethnic groups. They all want to experience the Turkish coffee. They want to experience that ritual, and of course, we have this huge gourmet coffee trend globally. Now, when you look at it, the most ideal, the most appropriate product is Turkish coffee for this gourmet coffee trend, because in terms of the way you prepare it, the way you brew it, in terms of the way you drink it, it's an important heritage, a 500-year-old cultural heritage. So there is a huge story behind this. So we prepared our vision, and in line with our vision, we also want to support the women entrepreneurs. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about this gourmet coffee trend so far in the States. Of course, Turkish coffee was sold in different ethnic markets, but it was never a part of restaurants or coffee chains. It wasn't on the menus of these restaurants and coffee chains. So to lead the way and to make it easier to be remembered by the Americans, we prepared this blend with Cenk, and we named it as İSTANBUL. And last week, during New York Coffee Festival, with the contribution of Murat Kolbaşı, we promoted this, we launched this, and there was huge interest again. People were so much interested in this. People now know the Turkish coffee, but as it's not accessible, as they can't find it in the restaurants or coffee shops they go to, they cannot consume it. So we presented them this chance, and they loved it. And last but not least, I would like to say that we have been working for the last 10 years with a voluntary initiative to promote Turkish coffee in different places in Europe and in the States, and we try to make sure that people got in contact with the Turkish coffee, but we have still a huge journey ahead of us. I hope you will be supporting us by promoting the Turkish coffee, by appreciating Turkish coffee, by sharing this special moment with your friends, by using the social media. I hope you will support us in terms of promoting Turkish coffee. So I'm impatient to travel the rest of the world with the Turkish coffee truck. If you want to join us, please contact me. And these are our business partners. I would like to thank them. Arzum, Okka, Kuru Kahveci Mehmet Efendi, Cenk İgnol, Karaca, and Falahattin are our partners. And I would like to full-heartedly thank them for their support. Please contact me if you have any questions or suggestions, any feedback would be appreciated. Thank you so much.